Hey Kyle, thanks for reaching out. Happy to jump on here and see if I can help show you how you can leverage some local internet search volume to bring in some leads to your website here. What I want to do real quickly for comparison is I've just done a couple of searches. So I did roofing in Austin as well as restoration in Austin. And I just take the top company. This is like a national franchise. So I'm going to take the top ranking company, each one of these searches, as well as your own website. And then I just put them all into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google uses to determine your position in the search results. Now, as you can see, just based on some of these numbers, why these sites might be outranking yours, but I'm just going to briefly touch on what these numbers mean, so that way as we go through your site, you can see what changes need to be made and how they're going to affect your rank. So when Google is determining how to rank a website, it uses two factors. The first is what's called the authority or trust that it has in your site. And this basically boils down to a popularity contest because this authority is gained when other domains or websites refer back to yours, and then they create a link called a backlink. And this basically acts as an endorsement that Google uses to build trust because others are vouching for you. So just to give you a quick example, let's say the local news station did an article on their website, and it said the top 10 best roofers in the Austin area. And in that article, the reader could click on a link and it'll bring them to your website. That would be considered one backlink from one referring domain. Now, these backlinks can come from a lot of different places besides press releases, blog posts, editorials, guest posting services. One very strong and important type is actually what's called a citation, which is any time that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those include Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. These are usually always free. It just takes some time to find them, register your business, and then input your information exactly as it's shown in Google search. So as you can see, just based on the number of links and the number of websites that are linking back to these companies, why Google is placing more trust and more authority in them, and therefore they're getting, top listing on the search results. But there is something to note here is it's not just a matter of the sheer quantity of these links. Quality has a lot to do with it. So we need to make sure that we're not linking back to like spammy websites that are outside the United States, or anything that's outside of your service industry. So we'd want to stick to roofing, construction, restoration, anything of that sort. Obviously, we want to link back to, businesses and websites and organizations that have trust, so that way they can transfer that through the link to your website. Now, the second factor for ranking is the content on your page, which is where we're going to go through here. Now, as you can see, these are the keywords and phrases that Google is either finding or associated with your site, and then the volume, the number of times per month they're being searched. So if we take water damage restoration Austin, that's pretty big. It's being searched 500 times a month. Right now, you're in the 92nd position, which is going to put you at the 10th page of Google search. Unfortunately, nobody's finding you down there, but if you were on the first page, 500 people a month will be seeing your website. Now, Google Analytics estimates that of total search volume, roughly 10% on a minimum should be converted into a lead. So you could be looking at a potential of 50 leads coming in per month. Now, obviously, you're not going to get every single one of those jobs, and the profit margin varies greatly, but you can just see how the sheer volume of leads coming in at the end of that month can definitely add up to some revenue, and that's just off one keyword phrase. So we repeat that same process for all the highest volume keywords relative to the services you offer and the areas you offer them in. So this is where I would say it would probably be beneficial to try to find some more keywords for more of the services that you do. But however, there is a formula that Google uses to find these. So let's take a look at your site now. As far as Google is concerned, it's a robot, so it doesn't care what the layout of the site looks like. The first thing it's going to do is just going to come in and count all the words and text on the page. Now, it's generally looking for a minimum of about 1,000 keywords, only because the more information that you have on the page, the more of an expert you are, and then the more likely it is to recommend you. However, what we would want to do also is just look at your competition and make sure that you have more information on your page than the competition does. It's just a race. So whoever has more information, that's check one box for you. So we'd find out how many words are on this page. If they've got 1,200, I'd say go 1,500, just to add some more information than whoever the next competition is. However, while it's counting all the words, it's also searching for those keywords. So any of the products and services that you want to offer, and then the areas you want to be found in, that's where it's going to find all these. However, this is where the number of words on the page really comes into play, because you're only allowed to have one of those keywords for about every 100 to 150 words of text on the page. So the more keywords that you want to be found for means the more content that you have to add to your page. So what that would look like is we would the first thing that's kind of, it's interesting that you guys chose .org. I don't know if 5starrestoration.com wasn't available. As far as Google is concerned, it doesn't really make a difference. A lot of people, when they're searching, if they see a .org come up, sometimes they'll just think it's a, it's a not-for-profit or something like that. They won't necessarily know. So that could be a potential problem in the future. But as far as how do we get these, this coming up in search results, you definitely want to split this into multiple pages. And the reason being is we don't want to have one page being so long that nobody's going to read the entire thing. So what I would suggest is separating your services into individual pages. So that way you've got, people can easily click on exactly what service they're looking for, and then get some more information about it. And then on top of that, it allows us to get more content on the page. So what it would look like would be you'd want to have a heading that describes, some kind of keyword that we want to go for. Let's say water damage restoration. I would suggest that we want to look for, if I take a peek in here to your competitor, we want to find what I call buyer intent keywords, meaning somebody that's searching something specific. So any of these Austin related keywords, obviously somebody that's searching water damage, they might just be trying to figure out ways to DIY fix it, maybe how to prevent water damage, maybe just get some information about it. But if somebody is searching for, water restoration Austin, then obviously they're looking for to hire somebody, and this is the type of keyword we want to go after. So let's say if we wanted to put a heading for water restoration Austin, then the following 100 to 150 words of content need to be directly describing that keyword in order for Google to pick it up, because Google is actually reading the content on the page now. It has put such a high priority on quality content that it's no longer good enough just to have content on your page. It has to be specific to the keyword in order for Google to recognize it. So every block that we do, every section would be specific to one keyword. So we have a heading with the keyword in it, then we'd have a description about that keyword, maybe a picture. Let's see. Yeah, so this is labeled, this is what's called alt text. So this is labeled properly, which is great. We want to label all those pictures to make sure Google can understand the picture as well. Then we move on to the next section with the next heading and the next keyword. Now, if you do more than one service, like I said, we do individual service pages, so that way we'd have each one with its own set of keywords on each individual page, so we can get some more content on there. If you wanted to do individual locations, if you service more than the Austin area, then we would want to make individual location pages, so that way one page will be dedicated to Austin, another page will be dedicated to whatever other city or town you want to rank in. And that's so that way Google can understand the specific keyword that you're trying to get. If you have more than one location on a page, let's say you service 3 different areas. If somebody is searching for one of those 3 areas, your website may come up, but Google looks at you as like, okay, well, you've got 3 areas on there and one of them is relative to the search results. So that's a 33% match. But if there's another site out there from a competitor that has everything about that page is dedicated to that one location, that's a 100% match. So that's more likely to rank that page. So we want to be very specific in making all the location specific keywords to be the same location per page. That way you have a better chance of ranking. So then you just basically figure out exactly what keywords you want to be found for. The homepage is basically like an overview of everything. We get one of each type of service on there as a heading and descriptor, and then individually on your service pages, you can go into more detail and we can get more and more keywords. This is a paid program. However, there are plenty of free ones out there and other ways to try to get some, find the right keywords to be using. So that way you can split all those up and get as much traffic to the site as possible. But it would really require, adding those pages to your site. Also a pretty good idea. A lot of people, do they have one here? I like to connect the map so that way people can easily find where you're located. So if you have a Google business profile, that would be what's going to show up in this map section. So as far as any search goes, obviously the first thing that's going to come up are paid ads. Those can get pretty pricey depending on the cost per click. Now, this section is great. So if you're just doing, say, the Austin area, your business profile, which is free to have, will be registered in Austin. So there is a smaller area that you have to come up for. However, there are ways to optimize that listing so that way you can come up higher in this list. You want to make sure you fill out all your information that you possibly can, all getting your reviews, but Google really rewards activity in this area. So you want to be posting updates and pictures on a regular basis. I go one step further, and whenever I'm posting a picture, I actually geotag it, meaning you put a location embedded into it. So like when you take a picture with your cell phone, the cell phone automatically puts your location in the image information. Because Google can't understand what a picture is by looking at it. It can only understand what's embedded behind it. So uh, I like to put a geotag on there, and it doesn't have to be exactly where you took the picture from. I just kind of spread them out all over so that way Google can understand your service area. So that way it's more likely to recommend you depending on your proximity to whoever's searching from if you have a picture that's posted in that area. And then you also want to get a bunch of those citations. You want to be listed in more directories than anybody else on this list. However, underneath that, this is what's called the organic search results. So this is where the more authority or trust that Google has in your site, the higher up on the list you're going to rank. So this is where getting more of those links or referrals from other websites just helps you climb and outright the competition. And then regardless of the location, as long as you have that keyword and their site is ranking for it, you're going to get all the clicks and you're going to get all the leads coming in. I know this was a lot of information. Try to condense it down so it's not super boring and a ton to listen to. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We can definitely talk about some of your goals for the business. See if there's anything I can do on my end. Like I said, prior to uh, joining up with my friend of mine and having this roofing company, I still own and operate a marketing company. So if there are things that I can do to help you out, be more than happy to see what we can talk to get things working for you. But like I said, the very first thing would be to increase the size of the page, having more than one page, and then get the format of having enough content on here so that we can get you found some more of those keywords would be the first thing. But any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach back out and I'd be happy to talk to you more. Thanks.